Okay, to start the meeting off tonight, we usually start with remarks from board members. I wanted to start remarks myself with a statement that we've made to help maybe clarify and answer some of the questions that people online or people in attendance will be having. So due to the resignation of our board president, I'll be facilitating the meeting tonight as the vice president. And I wanted to update you regarding the members of our Board of Education. On behalf of the board, I wanted to assure you that we are steadfast in our commitment to the safety and well-being of our students and staff. The Board of Education remains dedicated to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and trust while being as transparent as possible about the next steps in reorganizing the executive committee and appointment of a new board member. Collectively, it is important that the entire board of all 6 members are in attendance for these critical discussions and ultimately board action. Due to prior commitment, our fiscal vice president could not attend tonight's work session or meeting. For that reason, we intend to reorganize the executive offices, including the role of president, vice president, and fiscal vice president at the August work session and the subsequent Board of Education meeting that follows. More information will also be shared about the application and interview process that will be followed to appoint the 7th board member this fall. In our continued efforts and transparency, as always, the August work session board meeting will be live streamed and on recording on the Blue Springs School District's YouTube page, and the recordings will be uploaded for viewing following the meetings. Thank you again for your interest and involvement in these processes. The Board of Education focuses on doing what's best for the BSSD students, staff, and the community. We're just glad everybody's here and has a lot of interest in this, and our focus is moving forward and making sure we're doing what's best for the students of our district. We'll move on to if there's any other board comments or board member comments. Ms. Aggie? Yes, sir? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to Dr. Jerome with an update from the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I'd like to formally welcome our new cabinet members to the dais up here. Mrs. Talamentes, Mr. Cook, and Dr. Kulamano. Thank you for joining the cabinet, and I look forward to working with you moving forward. So that's exciting. I want to thank all our summer school staff and students for a tremendous summer school session we had through the month of June. Now that we're in July, kind of marks the kicking off of the next school year. Really, you're going to start to see practices of band and teams out there on the fields and getting excited for the next school year. And as a former high school principal, that was always a re-energizing moment for me, and getting ready to welcome our kids for the August start to school. So excited about that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you.
Looking at tonight's consent agenda, are there any objections to the consent agenda as presented? Seeing none, the consent agenda is approved as presented. On the regular agenda, are there any objections? Hearing none, the regular agenda is approved and adopted as presented. We have a couple unfinished business items for tonight for final action on policy revisions. We'll start with Mr. Wolf.
Yes, thank you. Before you tonight, as we discussed in our previous work sessions, for your approval, second reading and final action is 5.46 graduation requirements and 5.71 pupil clubs, extra class activities, and extracurricular activities. And once again, that is for your approval for second and final action.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Are there any questions or comments on these policies, or for Mr. Wolf on those? Would someone like to make a motion in regard? There's been a motion, and is there a second? Ms. Aggie? Any discussion on these policies? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Like 5 in the affirmative. Motion carries. Now, moving on to our next item of business, Ms. Talamentes, we'll have you go next on your part.
Thank you, Mr. Seams. I have for you, for your final review and adoption, two board policies this evening, 3A.6, employment procedures, and 3A.29, public service student loan forgiveness. And like I said, this is for your final review and adoption.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? I know that we've discussed these in our last two work sessions, and we've made some adjustments along the way. Are there any final questions or comments? Do we have a motion from Ms. Cohen? Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Gilstrap. Any discussion? All those in favor for the second reading and adopting of the policy revisions as presented, please signify by raising your right hand. If we have 5 in the affirmative, motion carries. Okay. We need to move into, hold a closed session meeting tonight. Do we have a motion to move into executive closed session?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Cohen seconds it. This will be a roll call vote. Ms. Peter?
There will be a roll call to approve going into a closed session. Mr. Seams?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilstrap?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Aguirre?
Yes.
And Mrs. Swansky?
Yes.
With no other business for tonight, we'll be adjourned for this evening, and thank you for coming out tonight. I would just encourage, some of us will be around before we go directly into closed session if there are any direct questions that anybody might have one-on-one from our community. Thank you.